Hey, good evening, everyone. This evening, we're going to be doing a little webinar, and I wanted to get right to it. I want to talk about, quite frankly, a problem that I've been studying on simply because it's something that I've found real common in practice, common in myself, common in my wife, common in a lot of people, and that is the function of the thyroid. And really, what does it do? And the reason I got into it is I was looking for something going, okay, what regulates your metabolism in your body? What tells your body what size it needs to be? And the thyroid was, boom, top of the list. So I went, okay, it's time to start learning a little bit more about this thyroid. And, not just your basic stuff you learn in anatomy or physiology. It's more the functional application of it, so to speak. And what is it that we can do that will bring about a change, or how is it that we can make sure that as we mature in life, that our thyroid does not become malfunctioned? And first of all, it's super important. Let's just take a look at the symptoms that a person can have. And we have a questionnaire that we use in the office, and it's broken up into sections. You're going to see section A, section B, and there's actually a way that you can take a body temperature. This is going to be available for anyone that would like. They can, have a copy of this questionnaire and do it at home and check it out. But you're going to see a number of symptoms or a number of problems, everything from thinning hair to slow metabolism to kidney issues to depression, anxiety, digestive issue, high cholesterol. I mean, the list goes on: anemia, headaches, loss of libido. I mean, they just go down through what everyone needs to take a second look at this because it's very, very common. And my gut feeling is it's common not necessarily because of genetics, unless there's been a genetic change in the American lifestyle that is, how do you say this, is kind of stacking the cards against us in being able to have a proper functioning thyroid later on in life. And there is a genetic change that can happen through generations called epigenetics. And I'm necessarily saying that's the issue, but something we're doing is creating a problem where it is very, very, very common for patients or for ourselves to have a thyroid issue. So take this questionnaire. It's going to give you an idea as to whether you have a high functioning or an overactive thyroid, or if you have a low functioning thyroid. If you take a look at the brain up top, and the brain basically is communicating with what I call the chief or the umpire to the ball game as far as the glandular system, and that's going to be your pituitary gland. Your pituitary gland really is its purpose is to monitor and figure out everything that's happening inside the whole entire body, kind of regulate it, kind of be the guy that's imbalancing, and if the brain needs to kick in and cause different stimulation one way or another, that's usually the purpose of the pituitary. And what specifically with the thyroid, talking in this, about the thyroid, the hormone that is created for the thyroid is what's called a stimulating hormone, which is actually made up in the pituitary. And that stimulating hormone of the thyroid tells the thyroid to either increase or it decreases the amount of a hormone called T4. All right. So if you can imagine, T4 is what the thyroid is making. The pituitary senses, oh my heavens, you've got enough or too little. Then it's going to either increase that TSH to where the output of T4 is increased, or it's going to decrease it so it just calms down and does its own thing. So as the body is utilizing T4, and I apologize for my writing a little bit, but uh, as the body is using T4, it has to go through a conversion and convert it to what is called T3. Well, that conversion is the active unit that the body is after, not that converted, but T3 being converted from T4 is actively what the body is utilizing to maintain its body size and those symptoms and overall general health. 20% of that conversion is happening inside the gut, okay? And 60% of it happens inside the liver. So how important is gut health and how important is liver health? Well, as far as your endocrine system is concerned, gut health and liver overall health are chief and important because it is the area, or those are the areas where these transactions, so to speak, between the these metabolic processes is a better way to put that, are happening and taking place. So if you've got a bad working gut, you've got inflammation, you've got gluten intolerance, you've got poor diet, you've got a buildup of toxins inside there. I mean, all of that is going to regulate or actually be a determining factor for that percentage of conversion. So if it's unhealthy, you may only be getting, say, 5% conversion instead of 20. Or you go over to the liver. Now, understand the liver is responsible for a lot of different things, but toxins are a big one. The actual making of the biles, which are fat emulsifiers, so breaking down, digestion, um, as far as regulating sugar, a lot of those things happen in the liver. But the primary thing that's going to affect the liver function seriously is toxins. So you really, really need to detoxify this liver, detoxify and keep the gut clean, and give it the right health it needs so it can communicate back up with the pituitary um, and have proper thyroid function. Super, super important. So as I break it down, then I'm going, okay, do we have high function thyroid? Do we have low functioning thyroid? Do we have an inflammation? That'd be an immune system response. Do we have Hashimoto's? Hashimoto's is an immune system response and also an inflammation, which really is an immune system response also. So you need to treat them differently though. So Hashimoto's is treated different. Do we have a cancerous issue? All of these things are factors that a doctor needs to be aware of and take care, have on his radar as far as somebody having a malfunctioning thyroid. And just there's tests you can do to rule those things out. So as I mentioned before, here's a whole list of symptoms of underacting, but at the same time, you can have a list of an overactive thyroid also. Now, for step one, and for those who were on the webinar last week, or excuse me, last month, we talked about detoxifying the whole body. That means going through what? The liver, the kidney, the colon, the lymphatics, add in the fibers, the probiotics, the vitamins, the minerals, the adaptogens. All of it comes as a packet that targets every one of these different areas. Most people, when they think of a detoxification, they're primarily thinking colon. That's not the case. You need to detoxify the whole body at the same time to really remove those and get those things out. So if you haven't done that, I recommend doing one every 90 days. If you haven't done that, that's step one. It is definitely step one. From that, you may or may not need a little extra detoxification of your liver, and you may need to rebuild your liver. This little ingredient called silymarin has the capability to expedite liver tissue repair and regeneration. Awesome little product. This whole formula right here is put together in such a way that it liquefies the bile or the fats, and then it has the ability to ship them out and help to detoxify that area. And then the added silymarin on top of it actually rebuilds at the same time. So very, very powerful product. It is in the liver detox, or excuse me, it is in the prep tonic, but some people may or may not need a little supporting act right there and have that on top of it. Other than that, you've got a thyroid one, which is primarily for hyper, and you have thyroid 3, which is primarily for hypo. All right. And that's just how she goes. Thyroid protocols, if you look at that, obviously I mentioned the detoxification. I mentioned rebuilding the liver and getting proper function in the body. You'll see a lot of changes with a lot of other organs and a lot of other systems in the body when you clean up the liver too. It's very, very powerful response. Or you need to go down into a compromised situation where you need to actually target something that may already be existing. So the idea is step one, step two, and step three. Go through it. And as you do that, you'll find that your body will respond and function the way that it's naturally supposed to do. There's been very, very few I could count on one hand in the last 35 years of practice that of the blood tests that we haven't been able to resolve with natural remedies rather than having to go down the medical route. And it's real enlightening to see what the body can do with the right formulations. And there you go. I thank you for your time this evening, and y'all have a great night. And I'll probably be chatting up with you in about 4 weeks. Bye bye.